putting the kids to bed. And our 6-year-old makes a joke where she uses the word sex because she doesn't really fully understand.
That's 6-year-old. She talks about sex so much.
I know, but it's not that she talks about sex. She makes these jokes. She hears the word and she, I'm something sexy, or you're sexy in your butt, or like she doesn't really understand what it means. But our son, who's 10, made a comment of, like, that joke doesn't make any sense because sex is for making babies. And then our daughter was like, oh, yeah, sex is only for making babies. And I found myself standing there mumbling under my breath, well, that's not exactly true.
Wasn't that under your breath? I heard you correct them. And I was like, what kind of hornet's nest are you trying to step into right now?
Because our son is 10. Yeah. And when I was a kid, my best friends in middle school, I had 2 best friends in middle school, and they both started having sex at 11, right? And we homeschool our kids, so they won't be exposed in the same way, but they will be exposed to other kids. And I'm definitely on board with the philosophy of, like, you have to teach your kids the right thing before somebody else teaches them the wrong thing, right? So in my mind, I'm like, our son is 10. He's going to be entering puberty in the next few years. Yeah. We are going to have that hard conversation with him. Not hard for him, hard for us.
Hard for us. It will be hard. Well, that's a good call. Will it even be hard for him? Or is he just going to be like, what's up, Mom? What's up, Dad?
Yeah. Right? I'm pretty certain if it's me, he's going to be like, Mom, you're getting too scientific. But it's an important conversation I have with the kids. And, we've talked before about how I have a really strong filter. And in my family, we don't generally have hard conversations. But ever since being with you, we've made it this really important concept that in life and relationships, you have to have the hard conversations. You don't get anywhere without having those.
Yeah, and a hard conversation is an uncomfortable conversation.
Yes.
It's a conversation that most people don't have. There's not like a precedent for hard conversations. They're just conversations that are needed.
Yes.
But they're uncomfortable.
Right. And so they're avoided.
Yeah.
Right? They're the avoided conversation. Anytime you find yourself thinking, this is bothering me, or I should talk about this, or this is some really, an important conversation I should have. And then the next step you find yourself avoiding it, that's a hard conversation. Yeah. And that's even more reason why you should have it.
For me growing up, we never had hard conversations.
Really?
And it was really, yes, we never had hard conversations. What we had were everybody would avoid the issue until somebody was so frustrated from the avoidance that they like melted down and then had this hostile confrontation. And that was basically life with my mom. Life with my mom was avoid, pretend everything's happy, and tip over too far into the angry side and hostile, angry conversation, and then say all sorts of things that you regret saying, and then pretend like those things never happened until stress builds up enough that everybody has another hostile confrontational. And you see it with my mom still. Yeah. Like when we are with my mom and I remind her of something traumatic from childhood and she's like, that never happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
And my family also, stuffed it down deep, but then it didn't normally explode. Sometimes I think I can remember 2 times where my dad exploded with some kind of repressive anger. But otherwise, in my family, what happens is 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, something comes up and you're like, you've been holding on to that a really long time.
If you like this short clip, make sure you click here to see the next clip or here to see the full podcast episode.